Teacher Rabbi LM Dumizulu. My religion is Kamitics. My spirituality is Ubuntu Mahati consciousness. Welcome to our topic, which we continue to explore: Christian doctrines. The title we want to share with you today is that you can never be a Christian ever. Christian New Testament theology makes it impractical, such that at no time can anyone be a Christian, even if they try. Actions coming from gospel messages, like love your enemies, have not been demonstrated by Christians anywhere in history on the earth. Actually, the opposite is what history shows has been the result. Is it not time for black people all over the earth to think about this very seriously and soberly and restructure our worldview by first rejecting these holy book-based deceptions, specifically Christianity and Islam, and to begin to think like real people to solve our current problems? To continue to think that one can be a Christian today is to live a lie and to become an open season for deception and continuous suppression as well as oppression. There are no Christians today. There have never been Christians in history. Billions have been deceived to follow impractical Christian doctrines, yet millions will still continue to follow and fall for apologetics and sentimentalism. Billions would rather be deceived than to think clearly, to come up with practical solutions out of this quagmire in which we have been driven into by Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, book-based religions. The deception here infers to the social theories propounded across the ages as read in the Bible, under the guise that it's from God. So these Christian doctrines, big or small, cruel or kind, all encourage people to believe information that is not correct and true. A few pastors and preachers may be sincere, but they are peddling lies and teaching doctrines known to be untrue, whose intent was or is to deceive. Here is what Andre Gide says: the true hypocrite is the one who ceases to perceive his deception, the one who lies with sincerity. Let's think about that. Let us continue now to give proof that there has never been Christians on earth ever. The facts shall prove that you can never be a Christian ever. So we start with Matthew 6. We read it from the Aramaic Bible in plain English. It says, "Pay attention in your charity giving, that you do it not in front of people, so that you may be seen by them. Otherwise there is no reward for you with your Father in heaven." So I say, when you do charity, let it be secret. But listen, Christian charity dominates the whole earth, all over there. When therefore you do your charity giving, you should not blast a trumpet before you like the pretenders in the synagogues and in the streets, so that they may be glorified by the children of men. I say to you, they have received their reward. But you, whenever you do charity, let not your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your charity may be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you in public. Very good doctrine, very good teaching, but very hard to implement. It has never been practiced. We know that. We can see that. Everyone can attest to that. Again, in the same New Testament, same book, Matthew, he teaches in Matthew 25, 36, 35, that you should do these things in public. There is no way you can do charity in secret. So there's a direct contradiction here in theory, in the Bible, in the verses itself. There is no way apologetics can come and put some plaster over this. It says, I was hungry and you gave me food. You can't do this in secret. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. You can't do this in secret. I was a stranger and you took me in. You can't do this in secret. I was naked and you clothed me. You can't do this in secret. You can. If we see a person who was naked and we see him clothed, we will ask and they will tell us it's a church over that corner. So it's public now. It can't be secret. So this is how and why we say these facts prove that you can never be a Christian ever. I was sick and you visited me. Where? I was in prison and you came to me. It's public. So you can't be secret. And yet Matthew 6 from verse 1 to 5 says you should do these things in secret. So how do you do that in secret? Can't. So these are the facts that we are sharing. Love your enemies. Christianity has never loved even those who are not its enemies. It has enslaved us. It has attacked us. It has colonized us. And we were not their enemies. We had not done anything wrong against Rome, against Constantinople, but they came and they killed us. Look at what they're doing here. These are practicals. How do they then love their enemies? This may be the most radical and impractical thing Jesus ever said. Much of what Jesus taught can be traced to some traditional Jewish teaching, but not this one. This one is unique to Jesus and to the Christians, but they have never applied it. Sentimentality and emotional-based singing and praising divinity and platitudes of love are not enough of fulfillment of this massive controversial teaching. Love your enemies. Christianity has never loved their enemies. No Christian has ever loved their enemy. It means they might love the devil, isn't it? This alone debunks anyone jumping up and down, speaking in tongues or praising God and saying they love. Who do they love? Maybe themselves and the idol created and put in front of them. It says, you have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. This is what we are taught in Mahati and is fact. But I say to you, they now change. Love your enemies and pray for those that persecute you. Where has this been applied in Christianity? Show me proof where Christians have prayed for those that persecute them en masse and their leaders. Say, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. Then he says, for he makes the sun rise on the evil as well on the good. So these are platitudes that have not been applied by Christianity. So turn the other cheek is the other one. He says, to one who strikes you on the cheek, offer the other also. And from one who takes away your cloak, do not withhold your tunic either. If you meet a pastor, take his jacket, you will not like it. Give to everyone who begs from you. You can't. It's impossible. And then here we see Christian pastors blessing soldiers that are going to war. They're not turning the cheek. And there is a list of Christian wars. There it is. War against the Donatists, 317. Roman and Persian War of 441, Roman Persian War of 570. These are Christian wars. Charlemagne's war against Saxons. These are Christian wars. Spanish Christian Muslim wars, 912. Jerusalem massacre. Second Crusade, Spanish wars. Third Crusade, wars against Livonians. Wars against Sarema. Wars against Estonians. Crusade, Fifth Crusade. There are wars against the Cathars. Wars against anyone who opposed them. These are Christian wars. So how do they turn the other cheek? How do you come and claim that you're a Christian? Here's the other question. How often should I forgive? Say 70 times 7, 490 times. This is no Christian that has done that. In Matthew 6:19 it says, do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But I thought you said, let them steal 490 times and I forgive them. That's a contradiction already. But according to a study from 2015, Christians hold the largest amount of wealth. 55% of total global wealth is in the hands of Christians. followed by Muslims, which is 5.8%. Look at the differences. Then Hindus, and lastly Jews. There, you can go to this site. It's quite interesting. 55% of total global wealth is in the hands of Christianity. There it is. One of the richest organizations on earth. The Roman Catholic Church is almost certainly the wealthiest organization in the world. In the United States alone, it is estimated that the Catholic Church has an operating budget of 170 billion. By comparison, in fiscal year 2012, Apple and General Motors each had about 150 billion in revenues. So you can go to this site and see a lot of these organizations. Generosity. The Bible in Mark 10:21 says, "Sell everything you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come follow me." So if you want to be a Christian, you must not have any riches. Before we dismiss this and say that it was said to test the young wealthy man, let us remind you that his disciples all jumped in to say, "We have left all we had to follow you," in Luke 18:28. But there is a scripture that says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth." There is the scripture. And there is the prosperity gospel that teaches us that God doesn't want you to be poor. So what's going on here? How is it? And also Christianity teaches that there is no competition. It says anyone who wants to be first must be the very last and the servants of all. This has never been applied by Christians. All this makes no sense at all. That is why we say there are no Christians today. Billions have never tried to follow these impractical Christian doctrines. They all want prosperity. They all want a comfortable life. They all want to live. So look at it now from another angle. The Bible, according to Paul, says women must never preach. 1 Corinthians 14:34 says, women are to keep silent in churches. So they must never sing. They must never whisper. They must never talk. They must never lullaby a baby that is crying in a church. For they are not permitted to speak, but to subject themselves, just as the law also says. If they desire to learn anything, let them ask their own husbands at home. For it is improper for a woman to speak in church. But we have all these Ellen G. White established the Seventh-day Adventists. We have all these popular female pastors today. So they are violating an inspired scripture. No two ways about it. So how can one be a Christian? These are not Christians then. Straightforward. Using scripture. Then we have got the power of faith, which is faltering today in the world because of coronavirus disease 2019 COVID-19. Because we are told in Luke 14:12-14 that because you have so little faith, truly I tell you, you have faith as small as a mustard seed. You can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. There it is. There is our challenge. Coronavirus disease. Where are Christians? Where are Christian leaders? Where are those men of God, anointed men of God? What's going on? Where are Christians? Why can't they stop this? Let's be honest and let's be factual and let's use evidence. The Bible tells us that with a faith as small as a mustard seed, they can move mountains. Why is this mountain not moving? The answer is the title of this video. There are no Christians on the earth. These and many other factors makes it clear that you can never be a Christian ever. New Testament Christian theology inculcates a very docile and obedient blind culture. Think of it as a cultural aspect. On the surface, it thrives on platitudes, very interesting language, folklore, uniform dresses, fine arts, holidays and festivals, literature and food. But underneath it, very difficult to see, are the beliefs and assumptions, biases, manners, interpretations, concepts, family values, attitudes, approaches to health and medicine, concepts of justice, notions of modesty, competitiveness, expectations, attitude towards environment, thought patterns. Go to this website and study, and you see a lot. Gender roles. This is it. We have been deceived. Objective studies have revealed that prayers are not effective beyond any statistical measure of coincidence. Most notably, they do not work for amputees or paralyzed individuals. Prayers for terminally ill people almost always fail. Prayers for rain, to allay storms, and for fixing damaged property, among others, are rarely attempted. Why? Because the supplicants know they won't be effective. But what do the scriptures say? They say pray unceasingly. There's something not correct here. Our original religion as Bantus is nature-based and derived from nature. It's a sacred science that harnesses the power of the mind, soul, and the body, as well as using archived ancestral divinities and knowledge systems. It is the original religion whose spirituality we call Ubuntu Maati today. It preserved the earth in its natural pristine state, and in the process divinized our souls. The problem arose when we became too dogmatically attached to the platitudes and the love and the trust, to the point where Isfet was not applied to stem the tide and to study the strangers that came into our lands. Therefore, the problem of dogmatic is that without looking into applying the shatter aspect of the whole divinity of Maati, we lose it, and we have lost it. It is time to arouse Shatter and send him to work for us. So come out of Babylon, come out of confusion and deception, and come back home. Time to wear our old hats. It is time black people the world over think about this soberly, and they move to reject these holy book-based deceptions, specifically Christianity and Islam. To think that one can be a Christian today is to live a lie and to be open season for deception. Happily, we can see millions moving on. To learn more, send us an email on join@marifado.com. Subscribe to our channel, Hamiti Iburu Ethics. This preacher Rabbi Ellen Tumizilu saying, till we meet again, Edupe, Siabonga, Tatenda, thank you, Henkos.